supporting their collegiate careers, bringing them down here. But before we can get to those sets, we need to make sure we get through this top 16 matchup here with the Mario and the Snake.
Yeah, and speaking of collegiate, we see CJFrozen up here representing Winthrop. That's the greatest thing about collegiate, is that it really allows these high mid-level players to get out to a lot of events. Now CJFrozen having to get creative with the recovery. Dominator looking to cover that C4 explosion with a forward air. Great idea, but just didn't find the mark. And still with the dominant position.
And Dominator, as all good Marios do, can find those up air conversions so consistently, whether he's killing off the top, whether he's finding those up air fairs in the corner, he will find those opportunities, which you're going to need against Snake, who's typically going to be playing on that other side of the stage in the corner.
Yeah.
So being able to find those horizontal juggling options is so important.
Yeah, it's going to be very effective, and it's going to be really important to make the most out of every neutral that you can win and fully take advantage of. It's very rare that you'll catch Snake without a grenade already pulled and cooking and ready to explode on you in this matchup. So it is going to have to be kind of the chip damage and the horizontal effectiveness that Mario can sometimes bring to the table. I'm loving his use of Flood to kind of take Grenade out of the picture.
He's turning into a projectile warp on both sides, which I wouldn't expect from Mario. He's using that Flood, he's using that Fireball to finally get the opening he needed to get that back air and steal out that first stock. Dominator looking still really healthy here on this first stock.
Yeah, Mario winning the projectile war against Snake early on is definitely not something I had on my bingo card.
Me neither. Here we go, getting those juggles, but interrupted by that grenade. Gonna save Frozen from some more damage. But finally getting that corner scenario, forcing Mario off stage, getting out those up smashes.
Hey.
But continues to pile on this damage for Dominator, and already has CJFrozen at kill percent once again.
Yeah, Dominator using his special so effectively right now. Tape, Flood, and Fireball have been doing a lot of work in this neutral and projectile battle to make it really tough for CJFrozen to find any sort of comfort on the ground. And a deep back air for Dominator is going to make it hard for CJFrozen to find comfort in the air as well.
Yeah, with CJFrozen, you thought you wouldn't have to use the Cypher to get back to the stage, but Dominator going underneath Snake's recovery there just to get that back air off. Finally answering with his own first stock in return, but going up to the top last time with a couple of down airs.
Yeah, 40% in the blink of an eye. And at what point, if you CJFrozen, do you start trying to box with this plumber over here?
I think you kind of need to, just because you're not winning the projectile game right now, unless you're going to start cooking those grenades a little more so they can't be sent back at you. But needs to get a feel for how Mario is going to respond in these up-close boxing scenarios. Snake has great tools. He has that down tilt, he has that up tilt, but you have to let yourself learn what your opponent's habits are in those scenarios before you can respond.
Right, you really do. And Mario is dealing with these projectiles so effectively, the down air, to send him to a rough spot. I almost worry for CJFrozen that even if he starts cooking them, the way that Mario's been reversing these and using Flood, it might just start backfiring even more. As we're seeing him get a little bit closer, get a sticky on the Mario, a nice spot dodge to give himself stage position. Nikita is always threatening, but Dominator just bullies right through it.
Just straight dominating this matchup so far, too. Has a really strong understanding in disadvantage in these up-close boxing scenarios. He knows that his frame rate is better than Snake's big boxing hitboxes, so he's able to consistently keep him in disadvantage. That back air is so sound in advantage in those up-close combo starters, and that's going to seal the deal on a game one. Very strong start for Dominator.
Yeah, that Mario back air is doing everything you could ever ask a move to do. It's taking early stocks, it's knocking Snake out of Nikita, it's comboing, it's setting up for edge pressure. It's really been the key move in this matchup so far, and this is the main question that CJFrozen is being posed with, is how do you respond to back air?
Looks like he's going to try to plant his feet firmly under that middle platform on Hollow Bastion. He was caught in the corner more often than not with that, just trying to stay under those platforms. So if he can hold center stage here, he's going to be forced off stage less often. But that's if he can get under that middle platform. Dominator just continues to apply that pressure.
Yeah, Mario was really able to bully Snake any direction that he wanted to in that last match. And already CJFrozen finding a little bit more success sitting under the platform. But off stage early on, I do not blame Dominator for getting aggressive under that Nikita.
But Mario just has such good aerial mobility. He can use that middle platform as a safe haven for himself. And that middle platform is also just fantastic for those up air combo extensions. He can probably find some down air conversions off the top, even on Snake to take some stocks.
Right, we can see down air conversions. We can see back airs to send back onto the platform and reset off of that. Mario's going to get so creative with that middle platform. So CJFrozen is going to have to make sure he always has an answer for it.
Continues to play around these Nikitas so well have been a non-factor in this matchup so far for CJFrozen, but he's starting to utilize these dash attacks more effectively in neutral just to force Mario off stage. But he needs to figure out how he needs to ledge trap to take stocks on this Mario.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing from CJFrozen in neutral. We're seeing a little bit less grenade pulls, and we're seeing a little bit more of a conservative game plan. He's kind of crouching and sitting in shield, not trying to put on so much unnecessary pressure that really was turning into pressure for Dominator with the capes and the floods. So
yeah, the main zoning tool has been that C4. He's starting to use it in disadvantage. A lot of times there's a retreating option there, but no retreat from that back air. Going to come through and send him across the stage to give Dominator another stock lead once again.
Yeah, Dominator just looking so confident in this matchup. He's waiting on grenades. He's placing his moves very well. It's really easy sometimes as Mario for your combos to get broken up by Snake Grenade, but Dominator's almost using it to his effect right now.
When you're up a stock like that, you're down for those grenade trades here.
For sure.
Just, he continues to tack on your lead, and that's going to be a lot of damage. Not quite going to be the stock, but going for that up B, rinse and repeat. Snake cannot land. Finally, just a little bit of a desperation back there just to find safe passage, but still down a full stock here. Yeah,
Dominator is all over CJFrozen, eventually able to take it with the Nikita, but when CJFrozen's in the air, Dominator is a caltrop, just spikes everywhere on the ground that CJFrozen's trying to land on.
But finally just starting to get some momentum going, gets that parry, just attack on a little bit more damage. And not even opting for the up smash in the corner anymore just because it was so ineffective with that cape. Yeah. So now, seeing a Snake without up smash at his disposal on ledge trap is going to be really interesting. You just don't see him have to deal with that very often.
Yeah, and Snake does have a lot of boxing tools and placement of grenade to edge trap effectively. So CJFrozen's going to have to tap into that very well if he wants a shot at this. But hey, as we're saying, he's making the comeback, and I love this spacing around the Mario smash attacks. Ooh, the down smash does the trick. And Mario can sometimes have a tough time killing if you're not getting hit by things like that up smash or the F smash. So CJFrozen right now, I'm loving his spacing and his patience around Mario.
Starting to see more of those down tilts you're talking about, just to space around the options that Mario does have. CJFrozen really digging into the toolkit as much as he can here, basically completely shifting his game plan as this set has gone on. But Dominator undeterred there. He does find the back air just to keep things close, but now going to need to see that adaptation on his part to answer the shift that CJFrozen has been executing.
And CJFrozen has had a great ledge pressure adaptation, but he's still throwing out some of those up smashes. And it really is going in the favor of Dominator time and time again. Aggression from the corner here as CJFrozen tries to work his way out, get up attacks and grenades, go back and forth, and eventually he finds himself in that center circle.
This is going to be a really pivotal part of the set here. Just who's going to get that big advantage just to get the other off stage. Starting to see that percent climb on Dominator, but the C4 going to erupt onto CJFrozen, and that's might be the momentum that Dominator needs. Just continue to trade back and forth.
Yeah, CJFrozen's doing a great job forcing these trades. Every time it seems like Dominator has an opening, CJ is able to cut it back off. And a nicely placed up tilt is going to give him the game tied up, 1-1.
Fantastic adaptation, as we were talking about, coming out from CJFrozen, starting to rebuttal preemptively on these jump-ins from Dominator, who, as the set started, was getting a lot of up air conversions, a lot of back air combo starters very consistently. So now just holding steady, preemptively putting out that hitbox and getting himself back into the set 1-1.
Yeah, it's been the preemptiveness, not trying to throw grenades and force the issues, but plant your feet and wait to see how Dominator tries to approach, holding on to these grenades, and much more success breaking up these openings and combos that Dominator was finding so effectively in Game 1.
I mean, making our way over to PS2, commonly considered Snake's best stage, but also very strong for Mario. He loves the height of these platforms, can combo you from coast to coast, from platform to platform, and get a lot of off-the-top kills. So Dominator opting for a place where he can get more consistent damage.
Yeah, and based on the way the neutral interactions have been going, I do like this pick for Dominator. The boldest Nikita you'll ever see.
Potential or not, we're going to lead to a lot of damage for Dominator, but CJFrozen responding in kind with a back air just to keep things close. These grenades are starting to come out, though, once again for Frozen, even though they weren't getting a whole lot of mileage for him.
Yeah, we're seeing him kind of use them a little bit more for traps and for defense. We saw him in Game 1 using them for offense, and Dominator was getting a lot of mileage off of Flood and Cape to send him right back at it. So CJFrozen has used grenades to take up space, and that's been a lot more effective for him.
And something that's been less effective as the set's gone on is those C4 for CJFrozen.
Yeah.
You're seeing Dominator very wary of them. He's not getting hit by them consistently, but going to land that up smash to get that first blood here in a pivotal game 3.
Yeah, that's the type of up smash you got to watch out for when you're trying to win a set against Mario. I'm liking the timing mix up for CJFrozen. We saw him throwing out grenades a little bit earlier. You called attention to the fact that he might want to start cooking them a little bit better. And he's definitely in the kitchen. He's been cooking these grenades pretty effectively.
Yeah, the trusty forward tilt coming through for Snake. Finally getting a meaningful Nikita, and it's going to send him off stage and keep things close. Trading with that up B, which I wasn't expecting, but working out wonderfully for CJFrozen. And more corner pressure coming through from Dominator, but finding his way out is CJ.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Nikita beat out Mario up B like that. We've seen Dominator use that effectively to get through it a few times. The up air is very scary here if you're Dominator, trying to find the landing. But again, CJFrozen just all over him. Missed timing on the up smash.
I'm just using the grenades to a full effect for Dominator just to get some extra damage. But the C4, I think that was a timer. I don't think he pressed down B to ignite that.
Might not have. Whatever it be, the C4 cleans it up for CJFrozen, and Dominator immediately answers back with that back air that was doing so much for him in game 1 that we haven't seen used to such an effective tune here in games 2 and 3.
We're seeing that C4 near the center of Pokemon Stadium. Not necessarily a position that's going to threaten a lot of positioning, which is why you see the C4 immediately ignited there. Now it's on the top right platform just to provide a safe haven for Snake, make Dominator hesitate a little bit on these combo extensions. Ooh, there we go.
Now Dominator kind of back to a more offensive style with the grenades, but it's working out because he's mixing up his timings a lot more. He's holding on to some of them, he's cooking some, he's throwing others quickly. And it's allowing him for a bit more success on the grenade throws.
It's made it really difficult for Dominator to get any meaningful damage, any meaningful combo starters, which is what you go to PS2 for, is to get those conversions onto the platform. But they've been a complete non-factor in this game for eFinesse.
And they really have been. As CJ4 is still just planting his feet center of that Pokeball. As whatever Dominator is finding scrapping in the corner, CJFrozen is coming out on top of him.
And he needs to drop those C4 around those platforms just to make Dominator hesitate, but he didn't get it on the platform, and that's going to spell doom for his last stock, and he'll go up 2-1 in the set.
Yeah, we're way too close to the blast zone there to not lose that stock. You were talking earlier about the height of those platforms and how much they favor Mario. Perfect example of that right there.
It's crazy how just like one small interaction can mean the end of the game for you. If that C4 had been on the platform, he could have let it rip, would have interrupted the combo, but instead he's looking down the barrel of what could be his last game in this bracket. And it's just a little thing sometimes, Finesse.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the ways that things can snowball and butterfly affect their way through Smash Ultimate brackets is always a very interesting thing to look at. You can always look at the winner of a tournament and look back to 4 sets ago. He was able to hit this move with a very tight spacing and only by a couple frames, and that was why he won that set, and that allowed him to win the tournament. So Dominator looking to try and make all of that snowball and lead to Game 4 success and a victory here against CJFrozen.
They often say football is a game of inches, but Smash Ultimate's a game of pixels. And
yes.
The little things can make all the difference. But even though CJFrozen did lose that previous game, is extremely close. His adaptation has been so sound throughout this set. And now we are on his counter pick once again. But Mario taking him for a ride. That forward area take him to a ride through the blast zone to give Dominator an early lead.
Oh, yeah, didn't get the right positioning that CJFrozen would have wanted on the DI. And Dominator, with the way this set has been going, an early lead feels really solid.
And unfortunately, the nature of Smashville is those up air conversions are going to be so much easier to get those finishers off stage because you have less room to DI, less room for error, but still in a good spot here, just trying to find that last big hit. Probably hunting for that up tilt, and it will find its mark.
Yeah, nice up tilt. Dominator unfazed by that, though. I don't know if you saw him in the player cam, but he leaned in, he smiled, he said, yep, I saw that one coming, could have avoided it. Still feeling very confident as ever.
He's a pretty jovial dude. Even after losing that game 2, he was smiling in the player cam. He just looks like a guy that actively enjoys the competition, you know, the pressure that comes with it. And, you know, as we say, you know, pressure makes diamonds, and
really
Dominator absolutely trying to cash in and make his way into this top 8 qualifier.
It's got to be the Peanut influence. You know, a lot of people in the Midwest where Peanut often finds himself have become more and more jovial with their approach to the game, and we're seeing a lot of success coming thereafter. It's crazy what having fun can do for you, you know?
Yeah, but better to have a smile on your face than punching a wall
Yeah,
when a
right.
set doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
It creates a better experience for yourself and those around you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
better to have a more positive
You
environment.
save money on controllers that way, too.
Yeah. But that back throw coming through, just barely going to take it for Dominator. Up that last stock. Could be the last stock for CJFrozen here. If Dominator can find just that one conversion he needs, but that forward tilt going to send him off stage. Just a hair going to survive, but still in this corner.
Yeah, that back throw killing was the benefits of Smashville personified, killing a big body like Snake at about 130 after the hit. It's a very early stock to be taking in a set like this, as CJFrozen now with a 75% deficit, but Snake can make that up so quickly. Grenades or just straight up bare knuckle brawling, and now we are just about even. The F smash trying to rip it away.
Yeah, Mario up just a small amount right now. That's not much. That Nikita coming through once again. These up smashes continue to not provide too much pressure from CJFrozen, but he still has this corner pressure going. A small lead in up tilt will kill. That's been the go-to for CJFrozen in this matchup, but that requires him to get up close and personal with this Mario.
Right, and that is the last place you want to be right now. It's those smash attacks that are so scary to deal with. And that tends to be the win condition for Mario is the down throw in the corner, and a great setup for CJFrozen. Nowhere for Dominator to go.
You're now 2 for 2 on game 5s in our block here, Finesse. This is what you want to see as these guys are getting so close to that coveted top 8 spot. Yeah, Dominator does have the counter pick advantage now, though. I'm curious to see where he's going to opt for. Gonna go to small battlefield where we began this set and where we're going to end it.
The distribution of talent in a tournament like this makes for a very fun top 48 because there are about 32 people at this tournament that can make top 8 if they make the run, if they get the right bracket. And these two are absolutely names that I would lump into that category. Both of them vying for any bit of advantage they can find, and we're back where it all started, small battlefield, game 5.
Will we see the Snake Ditto after this, or will we see Dominator have to fight his way through yet another Snake? That is the question that we are going to soon have the answer to. Dominator just trying to get this corner pressure going, but without the smaller bandwidth of Smashville, it does make it a little bit more difficult.
Yes, yes. Very much so, as the close quarters nature of those stages were very much boding well for CJFrozen. Wait a minute. Off that platform, a little bit threatening, back and forth.
Dominator hesitating a little bit in that up close snare when he had that opening. Snake going the wrong way with that up tilt, but making the most of it. Getting a lot of up airs, not getting the finisher, so he's going to eat that up tilt. So Snake a little bit stale on that up tilt, but probably will still get it done. But now these two are starting to put that war of attrition that we saw again in that game 1.
Yeah, and CJFrozen's comfort with sitting in front of a grenade that's just been thrown back at him is really paying dividends as he's able to kind of set his ground, get behind Dominator, put him between a grenade and a reptile. That's not where I'd want to be.
Get that grab. Yang in to avoid the back air conversion, but still living to see another day. But he does use the air dodge. What a great back air.
Yeah, the back air, just a lingering hitbox, was able to get above that down smash, and the C4 on the platform, a lead, and the first one of the set goes to CJFrozen, immediately swept away by Dominator.
And this is what you want to see in a game 5 scenario, trading stocks back and forth, no one getting that big lead. We do see that C4 on the left platform, gonna let it rip. Finally getting that meaningful C4 stock taken for CJFrozen, so he's going to be looking for those, but it's going to be at that top of that mental stack for Dominator. So going to be using that more to pressure, take up some space, and he's starting to use those platforms just to avoid these up air combo starters.
Yeah, up until this game, C4 had basically been net neutral in terms of how much it benefited CJFrozen, but right there, in the perfect time at the beginning of the game 5 to take that first lead. Dominator's been answering back pretty well, but CJFrozen right now appears to be snowballing a little bit. Grenade in the hand of Dominator. It's going to break up that combo.
And I like seeing that aggressive dash grab, just because he's mostly been opting for some landing up airs to get combos going. But you can just run through those grenades on the ground. They don't have an active hitbox, but that's an active hitbox if I've ever seen one on that up air. CJFrozen, one more stop between him and this top 8 qualifier spot. Dominator he needs to find this stock really, really quick for that forward smash, but it almost up at the end there.
We talked about active hitboxes. Snake up air is not just active, it's running marathons. It's as physically active as it gets, but now deep in disadvantage is CJFrozen. Dominator trying to chase him to the heavens, but CJFrozen gets himself grounded.
Giving him a hug with that up tilt. And CJFrozen, well, he was a blink of an eye, finishing out that set and clutching out that game 5.
Yes, in one of the strangest kill screens I've ever seen, by the way. Finds it, but if you looked at that last frame, you might be hard-pressed to figure out what it was that wound up taking that final stock. But yeah, another game 5, CJFrozen takes it. And this room continues to be energetic. The crowd continues to make noise. We're having a lot of fun here, Pow Pow.
Fair to see it in the house left to take. I love seeing this at events. That's also just the benefit of having these events finish earlier in the day. We're so used to seeing these majors where top 8 doesn't start until 8 p.m. Everyone's ready to go home. They've got work more often than not on Monday. So being able to have these earlier events so people can actually just stay